My 95-year-old grandmother arrived, and I lost track of time. She doesn't want to appear on the show. Sorry, Cookie. I'm 7 minutes late. I apologize. There's 6 of you here. VM is here to be my assistant, and we only got 3 people. How are we losing people? Oh dear. 2. Oh dear. I'm sorry I'm late. Who's got a question for me? Vim, why don't you go get the big machine so we can show everyone. Oh, we go back up to 5. Hi guys. Remember, if you're watching in Patreon, thank you, Cookie. You need to go, if you want to comment and chat like Cookie does, I think you have to go into the YouTube. You copy the link, put it into YouTube, and then you're going to be able to chat like Mrs. Zero. Thank you very much, Mrs. Zero. So this is a special, obviously, chat for our patrons only, and it's my birthday, so I've been spoiled already. I had a wonderful morning so far. I got up at about 5:30, had a cup of tea, and then started gardening. It's one of my new favorite pastimes is gardening. So I went to the Indigenous Nursery yesterday. Actually, day before, I went with Jamie, and I bought myself a birthday present, which was 3 wild jasmines. Thanks, GC. And I've planted them up against the courtyard fence, and I'm hoping that will grow and I can have a whole wall of wild jasmine. So this is a special chat for our patrons, and it's on my birthday. And I know a lot of you, due to time zones, etc., are not going to be able to watch this. Thank you, Mrs. Zero. So I'm hoping you'll catch up on this later. There's some very important information. So we have been a bit quiet, and it's been quite a stressful month for VM and I, and taking on interns and stuff like that. But the biggest thing, what we've realized in the last sort of 6-7 months, is that unfortunately, to be competitive in the wildlife filming game, thank you, Chris, we've had to up our gear. So VM and I have delved into our savings, and we have had to purchase 4K cameras. So with that has come a lot of problems we didn't even expect. The editing software needed to be upgraded because it couldn't handle the footage. Memory cards had to be upgraded. So VM has brought out our pride and joy. And oh, thank you, Lily, for staying awake. It's 2 a.m. Well, Lily, you're in for a treat. So VM has brought out our pride and joy, and this is what has costed us. Let me turn it around. We've actually had to delve quite deep into the savings for that. That is a Sony FS7 4K video camera. So what this means is that we can catch a lot better pictures, obviously. Mrs. Zero says, wow. And then this is the new baby gun, which is another 4K camera. Hi, Cookie. Thank you for getting up at 3:30. That is, so basically what that means is, what we found out is, it doesn't matter how incredible the footage we've been capturing is. We can't really sell it anywhere, because if it's in HD, it's worth peanuts. So we've had to sort of have a long discussion, and we decided to dive deep into our savings to buy these cameras, because what it does mean we have the potential to make a bit of money off our footage, as a stock footage option, which we haven't had in the past. So our HD footage, even the most incredible footage you can capture, all that wonderful stuff of the bucket and BB and the cheetah cubs, etc., has all been worth relatively nothing. I think for VM will tell me, like, good 5-minute clips worth about $30, eh? Even less. $10. Whereas with this new big cameras and stuff, we can sell some of that footage for depending on how good it is, from upwards of $300. We haven't sold any yet. I mean, we've only had the camera for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Yeah, and the big camera, and we've only had the little camera for
2 days.
3 days. So it's been a big learning curve, and obviously having interns as well. We've had a lot of time training. Unlike most interns, Lucky and Wasani are absolutely amazing, but they come with almost zero. They're actually not almost zero. They come with zero knowledge or skills in the film industry. So we've been teaching them about telling stories, and VM's been working very hard on their editing, and we're hoping that they're going to be able to take a bit of pressure off VM with the editing, which means VM and I can spend more time in the bush and get more stuff, more footage. So it is quite exciting. We are also busy putting together a sort of and I suppose it's an experiment to just try get a bit of cash influx into the business. We're going to be cutting together a 1 hour special on. We're not quite sure where the story is going to go yet, but on the big cats of Leadwood, or on the Reed Spruit Game Reserve, focusing on the mothers, because we've got Sandy Bend, the female leopard who's got 3 cubs, and obviously Bucket and BB, and now the 5 beautiful cheetah cubs. Thank you, Cookie. And speaking of those cheetah cubs, let me just chat about that quickly. I know a lot of you are very worried about the little cub that has got a very obvious umbilical hernia on its belly, and it looks very big because the cub's very small. Now, there's been a lot of questions on YouTube and on Facebook and stuff as whether we are going to whether the reserve management or whatnot, anyone's going to intervene on that issue or with that issue. So the answer is no, and there's quite a lot of reasons for that. So the thing is that you can't dart a cheetah cub of that age. A dart would actually puncture its lung or hurt it quite severely. So then the other option is you actually have to immobilize the mother and then physically catch all 5 babies. So the amount of stress and whatnot, and the chances of losing one of the other cubs, disappearing, not staying with mom, is a very high risk with a very little reward, because there's a possibility that hernia might go back inside, or it might have a happy, healthy life with a hernia. So in this case, it is in the cheetah family's best interest not to intervene and not to get involved with that hernia. So it is quite difficult to watch. I'm hoping that little cubby decides to just, and it's my birthday, I'm allowed a beer. That little cubby just decides to, well, just powers through that hernia. So it is quite an interesting scenario, and one we'll be keeping a close eye on. So other good news is Lucky and Wasani have been doing very well. So the first, when I had to go off to get my cast off, obviously we weren't around, and so we sent them off with a bunch of little cameras and told them to go make a story and bring it back to us, and they did that. And they, as I said, they've got no basis, no knowledge, so it was very rough, but there was definite elements of some artistic eye and some great storytelling in it. So we've scrapped that one. We sent them out again to get another story, which hopefully will come out next week, which will be shot, filmed, and edited by Wasani and Lucky, with VM and I basically producing, helping them with the storyline and stuff like that. And that's about the little town we live in called Hoedspruit, and it's known as a wildlife haven. And we have warthogs that walk through town, and occasionally other animals as well. So, but warthogs being the most famous, and they're quite visible sort of around the shops and stuff where we go grocery shopping. You can see a warthog in the parking lot. So they're doing a little story on that in the town of Hoedspruit, and it's looking quite good. They edited up until about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and then there were shots they were missing, or shots we wanted them to change. So we went out and sent them out again for the weekend and yesterday to go get the rest of their shots. GC, how's my foot? It is doing much better. It is in its moon boot at the moment, but I'll give you guys a look. I'll take the boot off. So I'm hopping around home. without the boot on, unless I have to go outside to do gardening and whatnot, because then it is required that I need a bit of support. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so there's the one incision. So over here there's a small steel plate and some screws that they reattach these tendons to. But the bigger side was, oops, let's see, I can't see what I'm filming. There we go, that's the long one. So there's a big steel plate all the way along here, and multiple screws in there. There's two big screws that go right the way through the bone, that are coming out on the 17th of October, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is healing up nicely. I'm starting to have an ankle again. The swelling's gone down, although the puppy did me a disservice this morning, and I tweaked it a little bit, so I've been icing it. I stood on one of her, she put a ball right under my foot as I was walking, and I slipped a little bit, so I just tweaked the ankle a bit, but it's fine. I go to physio for the first while. I went to physio twice a week. For the moment, I'm only going to physio once a week on Monday mornings, and the physio is very happy with the progress, and I think I'll probably be out of the boot with a walking stick, walking around. You have 6 plates, Cookie. You beat me. I only got 2 plates and 12 screws. Well, 14, but they're taking 2 out. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to walk around with a walking stick in the next 2 to 3 weeks, which would be quite exciting for me, not to have this big boot on. And I'll be very happy to get the boot off before summer arrives, because it's sort of, well, spring tomorrow, but it's sort of the end of the dry season now, but it's getting there. Now, those of you who have seen Critter Cam, now Critter Cam is one of our new live cams. A GC, I've got an ice pack that actually rolls all the way around my ankles, so I can still move around and work while it's like an ice ankle guard with gel. But so Critter Cam, is there anyone at Critter Cam? Oh, there's a hornbill about to appear on Critter Cam. But why are you not focusing, camera? This camera is being funny. I think it might need a little clean. Sorry. No, it doesn't want to focus. But anyway, there we go. To give you guys an idea, there's the little pan, there's the Critter Cam. We're going to be doing some more work on it. I want to get some lilies and bulrushes, but it's in the garden. There's the house. There's VM. You can see there's a few cars. I've had a few visitors this morning for my birthday, and this is our fire pit. And there's the rake, and I've been raking prodigiously since about 7 o'clock this morning. So we're having a few friends over for a lunchtime barbecue, or braai as we call it in South Africa. So it's going to be quite exciting. And then I'm hoping my favorite sports team are going to win this evening. The Sharks rugby team, obviously my most favorite sports team is the Springbok rugby team, who are going to be playing in the World Cup, starting in I think about 20 days in Japan. And I think we've got a good chance. Oh dear, Cookie. I don't think I could stay away from Africa for too long. I think the longest I've been out of Africa is about 3.5, 4 months. When I was a young whippersnapper of 18, and I went and did a brief bit of modeling in Italy and France. But other than that, I think I spent a month in the States. Other than that, all my long trips or long places away have all been to other parts of Africa, which is always exciting. And we're hoping, as I said, that VM and I are quite excited about producing a 1-hour special on the big cats, and we're hopefully going to convince a broadcaster to buy it. It is in HD, which is because a lot of the footage is quite old. Yes, it's difficult not to fall in love with Africa, Cookie. Oh, VM's off to go get us some firewood for the fire, and some ice for the beers. So this is actually, we're having a joint birthday party for VM's birthday, which was a while ago, but we were working over VM's birthday. Mr. Zero, will we get to do any filming of the Juma cats? Who knows? It's an interesting world, but for the moment, probably not. No. We are, once my leg is a bit more healed, we are hoping to open up a new area in the Timbavati, and we have been looking at possibly pursuing some projects in Botswana. But what we want to make sure is if VM and I do have to go away, we have Lucky and Wasani trained up, and we're busy. If we do get one of the projects that's going to take us away from this area for a while, we'll hopefully get another guide to fill in for me while I'm up Africa somewhere. But what we will do is keep you updated if we do go anywhere. Now, these are all pipeline plans at the moment, and we're hoping some of them come through. It's been interesting this last month, having interns and the new equipment. And VM and I are both quite, how do I say this politically correctly? We're quite, we have control issues. So we don't really like other people playing with our toys, our big cameras and stuff like that. But also what's really great about having upgraded our equipment is that now the interns have a full set of equipment to use. Cookie, my safaris are not fully booked next year. I'm not doing too many. It looks like I might be doing a couple to Gabon. There we go, Missouri. I don't let my hubby touch my camera. Yes. So the one thing we're going to have to learn is to let it go a little bit of that control and let the guys use the camera. We do let them use the cameras. But for VM and I, for so long, it's been just the two of us. We got into our little rhythms and routines. But it's good, and as we hopefully grow, we're going to have to learn to relinquish a little bit of that control to others, and hopefully we'll be able to build a really good group we can trust. And we're keeping on. We're going to be putting up another two live cameras in the next month. One is for the Steinbach families who own Blowbank, which is the biggest reserve the biggest farm in Rietsberg Game Reserve. So they've requested us to put a live camera at the waterhole at their private camp. So we're going to be putting up a camera there, and then we're also going to be putting up at another commercial property that's within the Rietsberg Game Reserve called Kai and Lorville Manor House. So we're hoping we'll have 4 live cameras out in by the end of September. So that could be quite exciting. And then oh yes, a lot of you have asked, we are going to be doing a Teespring run this week coming. Now the Teespring run is to raise funds specifically for upgrading of the live cameras. So to have a camera that can zoom and tilt and pan, and our patrons will have the first option at being zoomies. So once we get there, so we're gonna be printing some PaintedDog.tv t-shirts, socks, leggings, coffee cups. GC, we have received the microphone we ordered, but it doesn't work, and we think it's an issue with the cameras we're using, because they were the cheapest ones. I heard, I got a message from the director, Mrs. Zero, that the Wild Dogs won a Safari Live this morning, so that was quite nice. From Kirsten, she sent me a message saying the Wild Dogs are there looking for me. Thank you for that. But yeah, so that microphone we ordered didn't work, and we think it's a lot to do with how it operates with these cameras. So that's why we're going to be doing this Teespring or t-shirts and sort of kit, coffee cups, cell phone cases, all the works. It'll be nice. It'll be a very simple one, just the PaintedDog.tv logo. And we're going to use that money to upgrade the cameras is the main reason we're going to do that, because the live cameras at the moment don't actually produce any income apart from a very small bit of Google ad revenue. So we want to up the quality of the cameras to things that can zoom and have inbuilt audio, so the audio is already sorted out and we don't have to try fiddle with microphones and software issues. And VM has actually got hold of the people who make the camera, and and they cannot tell us how to fix the microphone problem. So when we plug the microphone in, it sounds like a constant water pump, which actually overpowers any of the sounds you're getting. So we've done some research and some testing, and we're gonna then hopefully with the money from some t-shirts and stuff like that, be able to upgrade the cameras we have to better cameras that will have inbuilt audio and stuff like that. We're still working on a deal to try to get a sponsorship for those cameras from one of the security camera companies, but as with a lot of these things, they take time. So and it's potentially great for us. So we're just going very, very slowly, and we're hoping that sponsorship will come through, but probably only next year. And we want to get the cameras upgraded well before then. So get them upgraded. Oh, it's a hornbill. Thought the warthogs were coming to visit. Get the cameras upgraded before the end of this year. And I know a lot of you watch the hyena den will be appreciative of that, so you can get better views and better screenshots, so better quality. It'll also have, the cameras we're looking at have much better IR. They cannot pan, but they can zoom 4 times. So and the IR on the current camera can only reach 10 to 15 meters. The infrared on the new camera should reach 50 to 60 meters. So we should be able to see a lot more about what's happening at that hyena den. And hopefully with the little critter cam here, as I said, we've installed. Sorry about that. My mother was trying to phone me, and I had to decline her because it came up on my iPad. I'll have to phone her back. So yes. So very exciting stuff, and we really cannot say how much we appreciate your patronage. It means an incredible amount to us, and I promise we are going to get better at producing a lot more Patreon-only content with my foot and the interns and everything. It's just been a crazy couple of months, but we're starting to get back into the swing of things and back into a nice routine, so you can expect some more content, more pictures, etc. And thank you very much. I am going to phone my mother back, otherwise I'll be in trouble. So lots of love to you all, and thank you for all the kind birthday wishes, and thank you for the patrons who are watching, and a big hello to the patrons who are going to watch later, and we'll chat soon. Oopsie.